You are a strange one. The situation is dire, and yet you're smiling.
Of course I am. I'm smiling because I'm still the strongest man in the whole world.
Tell me, Atlet, why? To exist as one of the Braves, why did you want that?
This is the first time Flamey's actually taken an interest in me. Now, why did you ask me that?
Because you're ordinary. You're an ordinary man who possesses a lot of unusual weaponry. You're actually quite normal.
Are you saying that I'm a weakling? Despite knowing that I'm the strongest man in the whole world?
That is not what I'm saying. Though it is confusing how an ordinary man like you could become so strong. That part doesn't quite make sense.
Because of my master. I probably shouldn't say this, but my master was a bit nuts. He was obsessed with defeating the fiends. So he holed up deep in the mountains, coming up with new weapons and different uses for them. Hard to believe he was only human. He was super tough, and he taught me the hard way how to fight. Every day we trained until I couldn't move anymore. I studied as if I'd been chained to my desk. I learned everything. How to make secret weapons, poisons, and gunpowder. I kept up on the latest scientific knowledge and developments.
Really? Science too?
I'm so grateful to my master. Thanks to him, I was able to become strong.
Actually, I have heard of him. In my notes, his name was Otto Spiker. He was on my hit list before, but given his age, he was a fairly low priority. His training methods were so severe, none of his students could take the pressure and every single one ran away.
Your information is wrong. I didn't run away.
So how were you able to endure it? Something happened, didn't it? And as a result, you became one of the 6 Braves because of it.
Long ago, it happened. A fiend came to our village.
Hey! Wait for me, Atlas! No way! Stop! Oh. Hey, what's wrong? Huh?
Oh no.
That's a fiend! I'm gonna fight him!
Stop, Reiner, don't! Don't do it! Stop! Please stop it!
Boys, good day to you. You're not going to say hello. Can't really blame you. Well, that's all right. I really ought to be speaking with some adults anyway.
That night, I couldn't sleep a wink. In the morning, the fiend was nowhere to be found. But the village elder said,
"This village will now move to the land of howling demons. I'm sorry to say that means we will be ruled by the demon god. There is no way the 6 Braves can win victory. The human world is over and done now. But if we were to join the demon god, we would have a chance of surviving.
Reiner,
We have no other
sister!
choice."
But the fiend said something before he left, didn't he?
he said to rip out the hearts of any who oppose the deal, and bring them to him as a sign of our loyalty to the demon god. How do you know that?
Give me a description of what the fiend looked like.
Well, it seemed big at the time, but I think it was probably about Goldhoff's size. It was humanoid and had green and light pink blotches.
Yes, and it had 3 wings, right? 3 wings that looked like a crow on its back.
You know that fiend?
He's one of 3 with considerable power. They rule over the others. He was actually the one who originated the idea of breeding a half-fiend. And then he created a fiend as the one to be my birth mother. But now, go on with your story.
My best friend died while protecting me. And it was my sister who gave her life so I could escape. I was the only one who survived it.
And that was exactly what he wanted to happen.
Even toward the end, they never hated the villagers. It was the fiend's fault, though, not the villagers. My best friend said it would do no good to hate them. My sister said they'd return someday, and we could all live together in peace. She believed that. My master said it was thanks to my best friend and my sister that I could become strong. I was able to achieve my strength because I still believe those words. A man can't become strong only to gain revenge. He grows strong because he believes in something. Yes?
I do envy you.
What was that you just said to me?
I said that I am jealous of you.
What? Why is it that you'd be jealous of me?
You have something I don't.
Huh?
I have nothing that I can believe in, like you do.
What do you mean?
The fiend who gave birth to me and raised me gave me my gun. She also gave me the power of the Gunpowder Saint. And she actually gave me happiness. But ultimately, abandoned me. I loved everyone around me, and I fully believed they returned that love. When I grew up and attained the Gunpowder Saint's power, I took the lives of so many people at my mother's order, and never once did I doubt her. I was only half fiend with filthy human blood coursing through my veins. So I had to work a lot harder for the demon god than the others did. At least, that's what I thought. I went for Chamo. My desire was to take out one of the strongest warriors in the world. But to no avail, I couldn't even scratch her. I fell for all the provocations she had and was finally forced to give her my name. I barely escaped with my life. But when I returned, my mother tried to kill me. The other fiends I thought were my friends ignored me. They had no use for me any longer. Perhaps I should have died right there and then. Somehow I managed to escape there. What I can't forgive is not that my own mother tried to kill me. If I were a mere puppet, I would not have felt any pain, even from betrayal. If the plan was always to betray me, I should have simply been raised as a slave, to fight humanity. But my mother, she pretended to love me.
So revenge?
Killing her would not be enough. True revenge would be destroying what she spent her life trying to do. Once the demon god is defeated, then I can tell her, this is your fault. Regret what you did because this is the final result. Back then, my life was so happy. I had my mother and friends. We all played together. And we all fought together. I even had a pet dog. I wonder what it's doing now. I wonder if it's still being fed. Or perhaps they just got rid of it.
I wouldn't worry. I'm sure it's fine.
Why is it you believe this?
Well,
Why would you not doubt for a second anything I have said? You don't think there's a chance I could have lied? If you're who you say, then you're not the seventh, and you should suspect me above the rest. Except you've no doubts whatsoever, am I right? Which is more than enough reason for me to think you are the odd one out.
I think I finally understand it now.
Huh?
Flamey, I understand the reason why I can't leave you alone. The reason I chose to tell you about my past, which I haven't even told Nashitanya, is because you're exactly like I am. I know the pain of losing your home, betrayed by those you trusted. The pain of using revenge to carry on. Why would you feel anything other than a desire to take revenge? I believed your story for a good reason. Because I don't want to have to think of you as my enemy. Ugh, don't get the wrong idea. It's not like I've fallen in love with you or anything dumb like that.
That's not what I was saying anyway. Don't start getting all creepy on me. All I said was this. You have something to believe in. Now, I'm going back to the temple.
Why won't you stay with me?
The fact that we've talked about things doesn't remove you from the category of most obvious suspect.
Right. Gunpowder?
Throw it against something and it will ignite, with no light or sound. The result, I'll be the only one to know where it went off, and where I can find you.
Then if I need help, I can call you?
When next I see you, it's likely that I could have to murder you. It's up to you, whether you choose to use it.
Flamey! I'm going to protect you! And not only you! I'm going to protect Nashatanya and the others! I'm going to protect everyone!
Stop. I thought you'd still be alive. Where's Adlet?
He got away. Since he was wounded, I was hoping I might be able to capture him. But I didn't have my gun.
I see. You should get some sleep. We can speak in more detail tomorrow.
That which is already gone cannot return. I didn't get strong because I wanted revenge. I'm not fighting out of sheer hatred. I got strong so I wouldn't lose anything at all. Ever again.
If you try to protect everyone, you'll be the one to die. Adlet. So that's it. That is the entire story of my life that I ended up telling Adlet.
Fiends are awful creatures, and they are extremely cruel.
That's horrible! If you're telling us the truth.
You're still holding the idea that Flamey is the seventh? It's perfectly clear to me. Flamey is one of us and always was.
Right.
I'm getting a little worried with you talking like that. You think it's just fine to consider her that way?
Stop it, Hans!
How do we actually know that she even fought Adlet? After all, my blade went into him pretty deep.
It missed his vital organs. So it looks like you aren't quite as strong as you say.
Adlet certainly seemed to take a shine to you without delay. When we blamed you, he defended you. When we said we'd torture you, he got mad and stopped us. So if you've fallen in love with him, it makes perfect sense to me.
You are an unbelievably irritating creature.
Woman, the eternal mystery. Her words don't match her thoughts.
Hans, knock it off! However, I'm also quite suspicious. How did you feel when you first realized he was the seventh?
It didn't surprise me in the slightest.
Oh, not at all?
He had been trying very hard to win me over to his side of things. And when I learned the truth, it was all logical.
I see.
What a scary young woman you are. Poor Adlet, I feel sorry for the guy.
Hans, stop! Seriously, you really need to shut up!
Again with this shut up.
What's most important is Adlet. How will we catch him?
It looks like most of his weapons are right here. He can't very well fight without them. He'll return eventually if we only wait for him to show.
But I don't think waiting without a solid plan is a very wise thing to do.
Being first to move is a good one.
Understanding that Adlet can keep us all in here by staying hidden within the barrier, don't forget. We'll split into pairs. Flamey, I want you to pair up with me and we'll search for Adlet. Princess, you go with Goldov. If you find him, show him no mercy at all. Goldov, please take care of the princess.
I shall.
Shamo and Hans, I want you to stay. Take care of Adlet if he shows up here. Don't let your guard down.
Yeah. Without a pretty girl around, I can only do half as good a job. Goldov, can I switch places with you?
Since there are no objections, Everyone move out!
I don't want to. Chamo doesn't like having to just wait around.
All right. So Flamey stays here now and Chamo will come with me.
I don't want to walk all over the place either. I'll go outside and play until you all bring the barrier down.
Chamo, no.
Don't worry, little one. I can handle young Adlet just fine all by myself.
Glad to hear it. All right then. I'll leave it to you. Chamo, make sure you don't get lost out there, okay?
Okay.
Flamey, which way was Adlet headed?
Over there.
Flamey and I will be heading toward the east. And I want the pair of you to head westward.
Understood. Goldov, let's go. What's wrong?
Tell me, you think you're strong enough to fight off the fiends?
What do you mean?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I regret my poor choices. Let's make up and be a family again. If your mom said that, do you think you could still kill her?
Of course. Because she would be lying.
Oh, so wrong. I'm an assassin. I've carried out many contracts. A husband who's been betrayed by his wife, children whose parents left. They all come to me and ask me to kill on their behalf. However, they never actually like it when murder happens. At the last second, the vast majority back down and beg me not to go through with it.
And your point?
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Let's get going. Come on, Flamey.
Princess, what's wrong?
I'm curious. Do you trust me, Goldov?
Of course I do. There is none among the others I trust more.
Then I'm going to ask you to please accept and follow my ideas without saying a word against them.
Princess, tell me what it is you're thinking.
I'm sure that Adlet isn't the seventh. I'm going to do everything I can to prove it's true.
But you...
Please, just for now, just don't disagree with me. It must be that Adlet has fallen into a trap, and he's waiting for me to come and help him.
I cannot do that, Your Highness. Even for you.
I wouldn't say this with nothing to back it up.
What?
Of course, there's no way to prove it. But even if it's a mistake, then so what? It could be the key that leads us to uncovering the truth.
Who else is it you suspect?
It's gotta be Hans.
If Mora and Flamey are working together, the other four are undoubtedly going to be paired up as well. That's really not good. It means that someone has to be alone with the seventh right now. If they get the chance, they might kill the person they're with and blame it on me. Gotta hurry. I need to go to the temple and take a good look around. I'll reveal the seventh's plan and the existence of the eighth. I can also get my cache of weapons back. If I'm lucky and Nashatanya's still waiting there at the temple, maybe I could negotiate with her.
Well, hello. I thought you'd make it sooner or later.
What are you doing up there, huh? Come to think of it, you are an assassin, aren't you? Surprise attacks and traps are your specialty.
Well, I thought those cheap tricks were all you had. But now, you're turning out better than I expected.
I wasn't expecting this. Well, Hans, guess we're gonna fight. I need to run away. I must escape.
You'd better be planning to kill me, Adlet, or this thing will be over in 1 second.
Why don't you come down here? We can have some real fun.
That trick won't work twice!
Do you hear that noise coming from the direction of the temple?
What? Let's hurry. It's imperative that we find some solid proof that Hans truly is the seventh brave.
Isn't it too bad it's going to end like this, Adlet?
Who else is it you suspect, Princess?
It's gotta be Hans.
Isn't it too bad it's going to end like this, Adlet? Not a bad ploy, Adlet. Pretending to be one of the six braves. If I hadn't been here, you might actually have been able to get away with it.
Hans, I'm not...
Are you going to try to tell me how you aren't a fake? Save your breath. It won't work. When you decided to take a hostage, I must admit it was shocking. And here I was thinking all along that you were so much smarter. Come on, fess up now. Tell me who it is you're working for.
I can't tell you, because I am not the fake.
Was it a situation where your sick mom needed medicine? Or did they take and hold your pretty lover for ransom?
I don't have a family or lover. It's like I keep saying, I'm not the imposter.
Yeah, then no one will be sad when they find your dead body. Meow!
You made me use that, you bastard!
Get over here!
Damn it! How can he still be chasing me after being hit with that? He's a genius. There's no way an ordinary man can surpass a genius. That wasn't particularly well done.
Yeah? Yeah? What the heck are you doing?
I dare you to attack me. I don't need any more secret weapons. Because I can beat you using my own power and skills.
No, you're planning something, aren't you?
For once, you're right.
Yeah.
What's wrong there, Hans? Are you scared?
A little. A teeny bit.
At least you're honest.
As an assassin, I've been killing people my entire life, but I never lie. Lying is wrong.
In this situation, victory isn't about beating Hans. Victory would be clearing my name. And finding the seventh brave. My plan's gotta work. That's right. Be cautious. Calmly observe. Now, how to play my trump card. Is it inside my clothing? Inside my mouth? Or is it at my feet? What about the distance between me and my belt? Hans, there's one thing you haven't been watching. But you're a genius, so it's the one thing you don't need to watch.
Huh?
You're too late! That's right. I can see that you understand. I deliberately aimed to the side so I wouldn't kill you.
You just missed me.
think about it for a minute, will you, Hans? If I were truly the 7th Brave, there would be absolutely no reason for me to miss you. And there's this. That last attack would have been my only chance to defeat you. So why would I have wasted my opportunity that way?
You're quite wrong if you think you can fool me.
If I were the 7th, killing you would be a much safer choice than just deceiving you. And you weren't watching my sword at all, were you? Am I right? I'm not the fake. Believe me, friend, I'm telling you, I couldn't kill you because I'm not the 7th. That's the answer. That's why I didn't kill you when I could have. Accept it, Hans. I'm betting it all here. If he really is the 7th, then I'm doomed.
Yeah. I'll accept that. I actually believe you're a real brave.
Really, Hans?
Yeah. Truthfully, I'm glad I stayed here. Because you wouldn't have been able to persuade the others. And that was close. You came oh so very close. And that's a real bummer. Right, Hadley?
Hans!
Now you know I'm the 7th Brave!
Damn it! I can't believe it. How could I have lost my bet? I'm still alive. He didn't slit my throat.
I cut you so you would hallucinate that.
Hallucinate? That was a hallucination?
Sure was. Unlike cats, humans lie with their words and deceive with their actions. You can never trust their eyes, voices, or expressions. Except that when they're on the verge of dying, their faces end up showing only the truth. If you really were the imposter, then the confusion would have shown all over your face when I announced that I was the one. Instead, you looked like you thought it was the end. So, it's true. Guess you're not the one to kill.
A dying face can't lie. Huh. That's one I've never heard.
I'm sure you haven't. Until you've seen the faces of countless dying men like I have, you couldn't know that.
Well, that's a nasty image.
Oh, yeah. How long are you gonna stand there like that? Put something on. You'll catch your death of cold. From now on, we're comrades. Yeah. Honestly speaking, I did think the situation was a bit odd. If you were the 7th Brave, you would not have had a reason to protect Flamey.
If that's what you thought, you should have said so.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Looks like we're going back to square one then, wouldn't you say?
Who's the real
7th Brave?
I see you were telling the truth. This evidence shows that he was here. He spent the night. Flamey, do you know where he went when he took off?
I don't. There are no bloodstains, and his footprints stop midway across here. Maybe he climbed a tree? What's bothering you?
I don't know. I don't understand what Adlet's up to.
Maybe he's out of options, so he just took off.
Not a chance. It was carefully planned and he's very smart. I'm certain that he wouldn't let it end this way.
Well then, we'll have to keep on searching until we're able to find him.
Slow down. Let's just think this through. Once we've gathered our thoughts, there'll be plenty of time to act.
As you wish, then.
My first question is this. Do you know anything about how the 7th Brave might try to set up a trap?
I do not.
No need to be testy. Although after yesterday, I can see how you might be apprehensive. But since we no longer hold any suspicions about you, there's nothing to hide.
I'm not so sure. What about Hans and Chamo?
Let me try this again. I do not suspect you as the 7th. I believe that you're one of us now.
I see. I'm not quite sure what to say about that. Fiends generally tend toward the solitary, with little interaction between individuals.
That's surprising. I always thought that they were more united than that.
But fiends are still quite complex. Far more than one might think they were. Whose side are you on? There have been several humans who've taken up with the fiends. Oh, you didn't know about that?
I had heard something to that effect. I received information there was a village whose people were all taken by fiends. Except, by the time that information reached me, there was no shred of proof, and All Heaven's Temple didn't take any action. If only I'd been more careful at the time, perhaps all of this could have been avoided.
Why are you punishing yourself? You're not personally responsible.
Thank you. Thank you for extending me some kindness. At least Adlet did one good thing in all of this. He brought you to us, and for that, I'm grateful. Even if it was only part of his plan, it turned out to be a very good thing.
Please don't patronize me.
From where I stand, you still have a lot to learn.
We don't have any time to waste. Let's go and try to find Adlet.
How much did it upset you when I brought him up in our conversation? It's rather obvious that you've got warm feelings towards him. When things were at their worst for you, he was the only one who stepped in and tried to save you. Still, there is no sympathy due him. He is the enemy, and a base, cowardly one at that.
Don't worry. I haven't. In fact, I absolutely despise him.
That's a good thing. As soon as you find him, I want you to kill him. Understand?
This is the end of the path leading to the land of howling demons. It's right past this spot. This is the place where the 6 Braves were eventually going to meet up all together. It's no good. The only thing we know is that Hans and Mora were here already. But that's all that we've learned. I was sure that Hans would have received some information from the fiends by now.
Princess.
I have no idea what to do. Adlet could be killed at any moment, but how would I even know it?
Adlet is our enemy. No matter what you think, Highness, that will never change, ever.
You be quiet! If you don't trust me anymore, then you can just go chasing after him by yourself! I'm sorry. I said too much. I can't believe it. I never thought you and I would ever be yelling at each other like this.
Princess, why do you believe Adlet instead of me, after I've served you so long?
What do you mean by that?
You've always been so carefree, more calm and collected than this. Why is it that Adlet is so important? You only traveled with him for a couple of days. Why are you so all-fired concerned about him?
Once you were also a lot more calm and collected than this.
But your Highness,
Let me remind you that a battle to save the world has begun, and that our friend's life could very well be in danger. Of course I'm no longer acting in the way I normally would.
Yes, but...
Adlet is our trusted friend. What else do you think he means to us? Goldov, I've known for a long time how you feel about me, and I'm acknowledging it. But now is not the best moment to discuss it. I don't have the time to deal with your jealousy.
Yes, you're right, Princess. I must apologize.
Let's pretend we never had this conversation.
As you command.
I keep having to remind myself that you're only 16 years old. You're so reliable that I'd forgotten you're still just a kid. But it's clear now. I guess we didn't understand each other as well as I thought.
Yeah, I knew it. No way to get in. You sure have a lot of stuff. Can any of that tell us whether someone is lying?
They're all tools that will help us in fighting off the fiends.
Since we know you're not the 7th Brave, that means someone entered the temple before you did. But the seal is perfect, and there's no way through. So what could have happened?
It was probably a saint.
Mora says it's not possible for a saint to be involved.
Mora might not know what the saints are capable of. It could be they're hiding some of their abilities, right?
That's true, which means you and I are stuck for the time being.
Hey, if someone were to kill me, Which of the others do you think would become the new target?
If I were pressed, I think it would be Flamey.
Yes, I'm quite sure she'd be the next one.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Hey, do you think someone's out there? Am I hearing things?
You were. But someone could show up soon, so we ought to be ready, yes?
You're right, we should. And we better move on so we can start looking for the 8th.
By the way, can you explain to me how it is that the barrier gets activated? I never went to the fortress, so I really don't know the procedure.
Mora didn't tell you that? Well, the barrier...
Something wrong?
How to activate the barrier?
You?
That's right. The ones who know are myself, Flamey, Goldoff, Nashitanya, and Mora. The only ones who don't know about it are Hans and... Chamo.
Is she the 7th Brave?
No, but I do want to ask her something. Do you know what direction she ran off to?
She's probably playing somewhere not too far away.
It would be bad if I went. You should go.
So what do you want me to ask her?
Ask her if...
Adlet, what is it?
You know what? Let's just leave. It might be better to go out and find Adlet so we can protect him, rather than wait for the others to get here.
Highness, please tell me why you suspect Hans.
I don't know. I guess I wasn't thinking straight either. And I'm afraid I didn't tell you the most important thing. There's this idea. I can't stop thinking about it.
Chamot is here! Kitty Cat, isn't he the one we always thought was a faker? I don't know why you even bother talking to him.
Please don't attack him, Chamo. I found out that Adlet's not the enemy after all.
That's really weird. Why do you think that?
Because it's the truth?
You don't need to explain it to me. It doesn't matter anyway. Chamot's bored with staying around here all day. It's boring being all alone here, and there's no one to play with. Can't we just go ahead and defeat the demon god now?
Yes, I'd like to defeat the demon god. But first I have a question for you. And it's something that's very important. Because we need to learn who the 7th is.
I'm done talking about who the 7th is. I don't know anymore who's real and who's a fake. You go first, Adlet. Or Mr. 7. Or if it isn't you, then it's Flamey. If it isn't her, then it's Kitty Cat. If it isn't him, then it's the princess and that big guy. But of course the 7th Brave could never be Mora, so I don't have to worry about killing her.
Wait, Chamo. What are you saying?
If I kill everyone, then I find the enemy. And then Chamel can deal with the demon god all on her own.
What the heck is that? No way. Are those fiends?
I'll tell you how it works. There's a swamp that lives inside of Chamel's stomach and guts. All the things Chamel's ever eaten live down there happily ever after, until Chamel throws them off. Get him now!
We gotta get out of here!
I agree with you!
They're in the forest, too!
Hurry! Get inside the pillars!
The barrier isn't working at all!
Damn it! They spent time in a saint's stomach, so the pillars are treating them like these things are saints too!
Remind me to complain to the Saint of Salt the next time I run into him! What is this now?
No! Look, these things can regenerate! Oh, crap. No wonder Flamey ran. Chama, what the hell are you doing? Why are you trying to attack Hans?
It doesn't matter, does it? Because there's no proof that Kitty Cat isn't the fake one either.
Wow, what is going on in your head?
Chamelot has an idea. Kitty Cat, I want you to kill Adlet. But if the barrier gets turned off, I promise I won't kill you.
Don't worry, Adlet. I'm not gonna do that.
Yum.
Look, Hans, if this is really gonna happen, I need you to get away.
Oh, cram it. Why are you always telling me what to do? I'm
go.
ready if you are, partner.
How to activate the barrier? The only ones who don't know about it are Hans and Chamo.
If I kill everyone, then I find the enemy. And then Chamelot can deal with the demon god all on her own. There's a swamp that lives inside of Chamel's stomach and guts. All the things Chamelot's ever eaten live down there happily ever after. Until Chamelot throws them off.
Look, Hans, if this is really gonna happen, I need you to get away.
Oh, cram it. Why are you always telling me what to do? Come on! There's no end to these damn things!
You're right. Let's get Chamo instead. We work together.
Yeah, I'm right behind you! That's no good. The fiends are figuring out the best way to protect Chamo on their own! Ow.
Everyone always does the same thing. Let's all team up to get Chamo now. Good luck with that. No one in history could capture me.
Didn't you bring more to the party than that, Adlet?
Fiends don't get tired. If this continues, we're screwed. Help, Hans! I need protection!
Man up, Adlet! I've got my paws totally full over here! Fight them back yourself!
Get over here and cover me while I come up with a plan! How long can you hold out?
Maybe for 60 seconds.
When those 60 seconds are up, you make a run at Chamo, and don't slow down, because I'm gonna cover you. Hurry, think. Sleep and paralysis needles don't work on fiends, but the pain of poison needles should work. And then...
Chamo's scared! Who knew you could breathe fire? That's not fair at all!
This flute will draw out the fiends, but that's not enough. What's left?
That's 60 seconds!
Go! I'll delay the fiends for a second, and aim for Chamo. Damn it! That must have been tried before.
Prepare to die!
Dumb boy.
Don't dodge! Block them now! Finish her! Get it done!
killed her!
Right!
Stop your whining and stay put! Meow. Your feet are too big.
I don't think Chamo is the 7th.
No, I don't either. But what was the question you were going to ask her? Not like she's gonna be able to answer, though.
It'll be fine. Answer me now. Nod your head yes or no. Please? Tell me, before meeting us here at the temple, did you know about the barrier? I see.
That's it? Adlet?
I'm sure of it. Those were the sounds of Chamo fighting.
I don't hear them now. You think they've stopped?
Chamo couldn't possibly have lost. Hans is there too.
So then, you say that Flamey let you go deliberately?
Now you're catching on.
I suppose that could have happened, I guess.
I want to talk with Flamey again.
But don't you think she's dangerous? Since it's not you who's the 7th, she would be the next likely person to be suspected. It's gotta be her.
Flamey isn't the imposter. I know that for certain.
I don't think it's good that you or I should have any contact with her.
She let me go. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but only for the time being.
Now what makes you say that?
Flamey lives her life in complete darkness. She loves no one, and trusts no one. She sees everyone as an enemy or a potential one. That's the reality of her world. I know because I also live in the darkness. In any case, I'm telling you that her darkness is very strong and runs even deeper than mine does. When she's close and feels your desire to protect everyone around you, she becomes an entirely different person.
Everything you're saying about Flamey is undoubtedly true. You're correct. But I still want to talk to her anyway. Take care of Chamo, and think about what I said, okay? Here, take this. Who knows whether it'll work or not. If you find any proof, I want you to let me know.
Adlet, don't forget that Flamey doesn't like you. And not in the "but I do like him" way, if you catch my drift. She dislikes you from the bottom of her heart. It's more like she hates you. That's how it seemed to me.
I've gotta last a little longer.
What's the matter?
Flamey genuinely hates me? I thought the two of us were beginning to understand each other. At least a little bit. Or did I hallucinate that too?
All I said was this. You have something to believe in. Hello, I'm amazed that you're alive.
I thought I was gonna die a few times.
You ignorant fools!
Ah, take it easy. There's no reason to be that mad at us.
Chamo's bad enough. But you, Hans, I knew you could be an idiot, but I had no idea you could be this stupid!
Jeez, why you gotta be so mean?
Why did you let Adlet get away? That was our best. No, that was the one and only chance we had to catch him!
Now, hold on for a second. I think I might be able to prove Adlet's innocence.
Hans, what are you saying?
Adlet's actually a pretty good guy. He discovered how the plan by the 7th could have gone down.
I figured it out. The trap set by the 7th Brave.
Yes, go on.
All of us were mistaken in the beginning of this. Rather, the 7th had all of us thinking something was going on. The idea that someone else activated the barrier right before I opened the door is not correct. Because when I opened the door and entered, the barrier hadn't been activated yet.
I'm sorry, but what you're saying doesn't sound all that plausible.
Keep listening. You and I both know how to activate the barrier. You put your hand on the stone tablet, put the sword in the dais, and give the order. And then it activates. But who told us that? It was the soldier in the fortress, Lauren. But what if all along he'd been secretly working with the 7th Brave? Think about it. We didn't even know about the barrier until he told us. And Nashatanya and Goldoff, they said they didn't know about it until they heard yesterday. Mora was aware of it, but she said she learned about the activation from Lauren as well. Hans never met with Lauren, so he didn't know. And Chamo said she never heard about it until after meeting with us. In other words, all of us learned about how to activate the barrier from Lauren. If he was lying, how would we even know?
Okay, then.
First off, the 7th used Lauren to lie to all of us about how the barrier's activated. And then they used the Fiends to bring all of us inside of it. They quietly waited for me to open the door, and by some means covered the entire area with fog. So we assumed that someone had activated the barrier and then quickly ran away. But actually, the barrier hadn't been activated yet. There was only fog. The sword was in the dais to begin with. It was then that we all messed around with the sword to see if there was some way to deactivate it. During that process, the 7th activated the barrier. All they had to make us believe was that the temple was a locked room until I arrived on the scene. And the trap was complete. They could blame it on me.
All right, it was Hans who blamed you, wasn't it? Then is he the 7th?
Do you remember, Goldoff? When we first introduced ourselves to Hans, he said then...
I'd like to take my time listening to the bunny girl.
You, Hans, was it? This is the Crown Princess of Piena. Of course I can recall that.
But it doesn't make sense. Because I could have sworn in the temple when Hans and Mora had gotten there, Hans called me Princess. He used that name at least once.
Are you certain of that?
From the very beginning, no question he was aware that I was a princess. But after that, he started pretending not to know. Why do that?
And so, eventually they knew it would be revealed that the temple was a locked room, ensuring that it would be Adlet who would get the blame as the 7th.
I have to admit that's very clever. Except that you were the one who mentioned it being a locked room. So I believe that would make you the 7th, correct?
Oh, yeah. You might be right.
It was the perfect trap. The 7th could have brought up the fact it was a locked room. But since Hans knew so much about the sealed door, they left it to him instead of speaking up themselves.
You trust what Hans says? Why is that?
Because I fought Hans a while ago. When he was just ready to kill me. No, wait. Basically, he would have killed me. But at that moment, Hans believed in me. And he chose not to.
He didn't kill you, and so now you trust him.
The only thing that really matters here is that someone waited for me to enter the temple before summoning the fog, and that was the trap. If only I could catch them in their lies, then I could prove that I'm innocent.
You're right. That's a very good idea. I'm impressed.
Oh, yeah!
But there's a mistake. And it could be fatal. You don't have the right idea about saints and their powers. Even if they are using the power of gods, there are limits to how they can go about it. Not only that, what they can use is totally different for each saint.
But there must be a saint who can work with fog.
There is. It's the saint who made this barrier, and that's the Fog Saint Uspa. But given her particular abilities, it would have taken her longer to cover the forest in fog. She would have needed 15 minutes.
But the entire forest was covered instantly.
Because a great deal of time was taken in setting up the barrier. Realistically, it would have taken a good many years to sufficiently build up the fog god's power out here.
You know a lot.
The fiends were desperate. If Uspa had the power to instantly cover an entire forest with fog, she would have been on my list as key target. Watch.
What's that? Huh? Oh, crap!
Those stakes contain the power for the phantasmal barrier. Countless numbers of them are buried throughout the forest. That's the only reason the entire area was covered instantly.
But if they'd made something other than the phantasmal barrier, it could easily have been a type that creates fog.
You can only erect one type of barrier in a given location. If you put up 2 barriers, one of them will automatically be disabled.
Is that right?
Summoning the fog instantly would not be possible without the power of a barrier. And there's already a barrier that summons fog in this forest. You see, your theory isn't actually possible in reality.
But that scenario is more feasible than breaking the locked room in the temple.
Think what you want, Hans. I'm going to see if I can find Adlet somewhere.
Hold it. Before you go, I have to tell you, I am positive Adlet is not the 7th. If he were, then why wouldn't he have killed me? He had a chance but deliberately missed it. Why would he protect Flamey? And he could have finished off Chamo, but he didn't.
You can't see? I can explain it easily. Why exactly do you think Adlet appeared before us in the first place? If all he wanted was to lock us in here, he could have activated the barrier and run away.
Well,
Don't you see his trap? He's messing with our minds. First, he's making us think he could be the 7th. Then trying to make us believe it's someone else. He wants us to believe that, so we'll spend time fighting each other, get it? He's doing a good job of fooling you, Hans. And he has the princess fooled, too. She doesn't think he could possibly be the 7th. So far, at least 2 of the 6 Braves have already fallen for his tricks.
with my own 2 eyes, I saw him.
Can't fool others with a dying face. If that's your evidence, then it's not very good. Now, I'm going to do whatever it takes.
I'm afraid that it's now checkmate for you, Adlet. Your hypothesis was completely wrong and you're out of ways to escape. Even if you are not the imposter, there's no way that you can survive.
I have to think about this. Does it make sense to try and use Flamey's help now? Maybe it would be better for me to find another Brave. Someone who could possibly do even more.
Are you going to look for Nashitanya now? You have relied on Hans, and you have relied on me, so Nashitanya is next, right? You say you're the strongest man in the whole world. Is that true, Adlet Meyer? Yes, and you're still smiling, aren't you?
That's right. I'm used to being insulted and laughed at. But I can't let myself die. That's why I laugh. I told you, if you can't laugh anymore, it's all over. I'm never ever going to give up.
Your training, the memory of your sister and friend. That's why you'll laugh and struggle, even right up to the brink of death.
Flamey, you know that if I'm killed, the 7th will be coming after you next.
Please, Adlet, no.
If I die, there is no doubt that you'll be blamed, and killed in the same way. But as long as I live, no one will ever have a reason to suspect you. Just believe in me, Flamey. I guess I'll be going now. Let me know if you change your mind.
There is no way I can believe in you. I don't understand a single thing that you're thinking. I just don't get it. How can you still smile? Why don't you give up? Why do you still protect me after all this time? Mara probably reached the temple a long time ago. By now I'm sure she's persuaded Hans and is chasing you with Chamo. They could appear right in front of us at any moment.
Flamey.
But please, stay a little longer.
Oh.
I want to get to know you better than I do. And then maybe... at last I can believe in what you say.
You know, when I was traveling with Adlet, I couldn't help but think there was something different about him, especially compared to the other potential Braves. He wasn't like any of them. I guess, well, I don't know the reason why. It's just that there's something different about him. Funny. I must be the only one who sees that. Just a minute. Look at my crest. Please tell me whether or not Adlet is still alive.
Then pardon me. No one has been killed yet. Neither Adlet nor our other comrades. They are all alive.
Good. He's working hard. Well, that's my Adlet. And I'll work just as hard.
I don't understand a single thing that you're thinking. I just don't get it. But please, stay a little longer. And then maybe, at last I can believe in what you say.
Good. He's working hard. Well, that's my Adlet. And I'll work just as hard.
She said she might be able to believe me. Right now. That's what Flamey said.
I've always wondered why you protected me. What was in it for you? Why weren't you suspicious of me?
Why are you pointing a gun at me?
Because if you lie to me, I'll shoot.
Wait! I've never thought you were our enemy. I wanted to protect you. I don't have any other reason than that. Flamey!
Did you hear me, Adlet? Don't try to lie.
It's because the fact is, you're exactly like I am. I know the pain of losing your home, betrayed by those you trusted. I believed your story for a good reason, because I don't want to have to think of you as my enemy. Because yeah, I'm gonna say it. A long time ago, I tried to be nothing but a weapon of war. I tried to abandon the feelings in my heart. I tried to become someone whose sole purpose was to kill the fiends who took everything from me. Even though my master said I was an ordinary man, I thought that would be the only way I could become the strongest man in the whole world. Except that it didn't work. Because your heart isn't something you can simply choose to ignore.
That's not true, Adlet. I did it very easily indeed. I survived because I was able to ignore my heart to get revenge against the demon god.
That's not true, Flamey. You think you're ignoring your heart, but your heart is driving you. Doing your best to ignore your feelings won't make you strong. One thing you can't prevent is falling in love with someone.
Huh?
For a long time, well, actually since yesterday, I knew that I loved you. I only just realized it. But since I first met you, my feelings haven't changed. The truth is, I love you, Flamey. When I first met up with Nashatanya, I learned that you were a brave killer. But when I saw how suspicious they were of you, I thought it was wrong. I thought that even if your comrades wouldn't believe you, I had to believe you. If no one else in the world would protect you, then I had to be the one. When I realized that one of the Braves was fake, I still felt the same way. More than finding the seventh, I had to protect you. From the first, I knew you could never be an imposter.
What is it that causes this?
I have no idea. I just know that when I see you in pain like this, I feel the pain myself. And that's something even the strongest man in the whole world can't handle.
Wherever could I go to live after the demon god is finally destroyed? I can't return to the fiends, and I've nowhere to live in the human world. My hope is that I die while killing the demon god.
Right now, revenge may mean everything to you. But there'll come a time when you need to move on and start a new life.
I don't think that I can have a new life. No humans would ever fully accept me. I'm a brave killer and the half-blood daughter of a fiend. They couldn't stand me.
Well, I could take care of that.
You really don't have any sense at all. This would never work.
Stupid.
What do you mean?
I think you've forgotten who I am. Adlet Meyer, the strongest man in the whole world. If you think I can't create a loving home for you, then you are mistaken.
Adlet, please.
I've told you now. You know how I feel. Please believe what I say.
Flamey lives her life in complete darkness. She loves no one, and trusts no one. When she's close and feels your desire to protect everyone around you, she becomes an entirely different person.
I get it. I understand you now.
You do? Flamey, what?
You are my enemy. There's no question of it. Gunfire?
Hurry, Princess, let's go.
Wait, that's Flamey! So, Adlet, it's not working out like you thought it would.
Listen, Chamo. I want you to watch over Hans.
What are you doing? Do you realize what kind of danger you could be unleashing with that child?
Chamo likes it. I'm real responsible.
Just keep an eye on him. There's no need to attack him unless he gets out of line. Now behave yourself, or I'll get angry.
I knew you were angry with Chamo.
Next time you pull something like that, you'll get much worse than a spanking.
Okay. You hear that? Chamo's watching you now, kitty cat, so don't move.
I see. It's obvious you're scared since Mora's so strong.
Chamo's a lot stronger than Mora is, but she's still a real scary lady.
God of the mountains, grant me your power! Princess! Flamey!
What is that awful sound?
That's the power of mountain echoes. Mora's the saint of mountains, and she knows how to do a lot of stuff.
Hans was defeated. He survived, but he's in critical condition now. Adlet was the one who did it. Adlet is the imposter, and he must pay. Find him and kill him now, with no hesitation.
What the hell are you thinking, Mora?
We'll finally see action from the princess. And this time, there's no way Flamey will let Adlet escape.
You're nuts! You can't do that!
Kitty cat, look, if you're trying something, I'm allowed to put you down. Mora said.
Don't be tiresome. I only told you to keep an eye on him so he stays here.
No!
Wait a minute. No way. Maybe Mora's the imposter.
It's Mora!
It would seem that way.
What's she doing? Hey, looks like Hans is all right. Mora set a trap.
Oh, she already said Hans was still alive. There's no good reason for me to believe a single word that comes out of your mouth.
Highness.
I'm sorry, Hans. I'm sure you didn't do anything wrong, did you?
Highness.
What was I doing out here for such a very long time?
Come. Let us go. Princess, are you sure you're well? Highness, please be calm.
There was something that was really wrong with me earlier today. There was such a lot going on with us, but I didn't really know what that was, did I, Goldov? But I've calmed down now. I'm completely calm. See?
You are. You are well.
So that's the way. That's what it feels like, isn't it? For the first time, I know what it is to be angry. I finally understand.
Highness, you...
Adlet, I believed in you. I believed in you completely. Isn't it wonderful, Goldov? Since starting my journey, I've experienced so many things now. And we're not done. I'm gonna have many, many more. I can feel it! I want to know, if you lose yourself to rage and slice an enemy wide open, what kind of feelings would you encounter then?
No, Flamey!
Not bad, Flamey. Good work.
That must be Flamey. She's telling us her location.
Yeah, and I have no doubt Adlet's right there with her.
Flamey, look! Go to the temple! If you do, you'll see that Mora is lying!
It wouldn't matter. That's not going to change the fact that I know you're the false brave.
What makes you think that? I'm the strongest! I'm faster than she is. I'll just keep running for now. No, no! No mercy in that girl. Flamey! What makes you think that I'm the imposter?
Why aren't you running away?
Because I want you to believe me.
How do you have the nerve to even open your lying mouth?
Answer the question I asked you. Now!
Because I can see right through you. I see the ugly truth behind your dishonest words. You think by using your honeyed phrases that you can deceive me with your plan.
I was telling you the truth. Because you aren't seeing anything at all.
You liars always say the same old thing. I believe in you. I care about you. And I will protect you. I'll never believe that again. No one ever protected me before, so I can't let myself think they would now. I'll live alone, fight alone, and die alone.
Flamey.
I know this feeling. I felt it on my skin and in my body. It's better not to believe in anyone than believe in someone and then reap betrayal!
Flamey! It's not that Flamey doesn't believe. It's that she's decided she won't. absolutely sure. She desperately wants to believe in someone. Flamey.
So you couldn't finish him?
Mora!
Mora,
Not a word. I'll be the one to kill him.
understood.
Is this the end? Mora, I can't help you anymore.
Smokescreen!
He got away. There you are.
How'd he do that?
But why?
What are you doing?
Mora, he surrendered to us, didn't he?
Huh? Fine then. But don't think that you'll survive this.
For the record, we're down one as well, but at least he's not dead.
Is Hans okay?
I don't know. You're the one who injured him.
His well-being is important.
Why don't you start with this? Tell us all about your plan and about those backing you.
Unfortunately, I can't do that.
Oh, you think not?
Flamey's innocent. I can prove that here and now.
What?
You going to listen to me? Even if you say no, I'll tell you.
What do you want to say?
For this to have worked, one thing must be true. One of the 7 who bears the crest of the Braves activated the barrier. There's no time to explain, so I'll skip the evidence.
You are the one who's the imposter. That's all we need to know.
I have no weapons on me. Inside here is a chemical my master compounded.
Looks to me like a toy.
Flamey, let me borrow one of your bullets. This chemical is used to find any traces of fiends. When it reacts to a certain chemical that fiends emit, it will slowly begin glowing a bright red color. You saw it yourself. Flamey's a half-blood fiend, and it responded to her. I sprayed some on the altar that activates the barrier, and then I watched it. There was no reaction at all. Hans saw it too. Flamey never laid her hands on the altar. Therefore, that proves that she's innocent. And that shows she didn't activate the barrier.
But Adlet...
You bastard.
If you're the imposter, I guess your plan is all screwed up now. And your precious little ploy is a total ruin. I know that after me, you were going to blame Flamey. And then you were going to kill her, too. You know that if I'm killed, the 7th will be making you the next target. I always knew I loved you. The truth is that I've loved you from the very start.
Wow, Adlet. You really are a piece of work. For one brief moment there, even I thought you were being totally genuine.
If I'm not who you think, you are going to regret this.
That's what makes you such a threat. If I don't take care of you now, everyone is going to believe your lies.
Flamey, after I'm dead, go to Hans for help. You can absolutely trust him.
Damn it! How dare you!
Adlet, for the longest while I hated you. And especially, I hated the fact that I was starting to believe in you.
Stop, Flamey! Don't let him into your head!
I still hate you. And the more I talk to you, the more I hate you. I know that I'll just end up believing you like before, even though I already decided to never believe anyone ever again.
No, Flamey!
Adlet, run!
You run too!
God of the mountain!
Adlet, listen! I can hold her off!
No way! You just run!
Where?
I'm figuring that out!
A little late, princess.
No, it can't be. No, Nasha Tanya.
Don't forget. She's the enemy.
That was super fun, wasn't it, Adlet? But now, I'm gonna destroy you, okay?
I had no idea. I can't believe how little I knew about anything. How fun it is to travel without servants or maids. How scary it is to go to battle for the first time. How wonderful to have someone by your side, encouraging you. I'm so grateful. And I thank you.
What is it you're...
I'm happy to have said my thanks.
And now I have to kill you.
Listen to me, Hans is alive and well, Nasha Tanya. Adlet's not our enemy. Mora has been lying to us.
He is our enemy, and Hans is badly hurt. Flamey has fallen for Adlet's lies.
You need to calm down, Nasha Tanya.
Hey, Adlet. It's not nice to keep a girl waiting like this.
Yeah, for what?
Repentance. When you get caught doing something bad, then you're supposed to show remorse before you die.
I remember that's what the head maid told me.
Run. She is completely insane.
Yeah, I'll head for the temple.
So, Adlet, do you repent yet?
Princess, you know too little about the world. Nowhere is it written that everyone must repent.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and kill him right now.
I concentrated them too thickly.
She's not hesitating for a second!
Gotcha.
Flamey, no!
I'll handle getting control of Flamey. You just concentrate on finishing off Adlet!
I won't let you in.
Bombs, look out!
What is Flamey doing?
Adlet is controlling her.
Adlet, I can deal with those two. So you take off, you hear me?
Right after I said I would protect her. Flamey! I'm going to protect you to the end! 'Cause I'm the strongest man in the whole world!
You'll never be able to stop both of us! Adlet, please. You have got to run.
I'm sorry to leave you, Flamey. But if I can get to the temple, I can reunite with Hans. Then Nasha should stop fighting. Once she sees Hans is safe. Hey Hans, you here? If you're here, come out! Hans! Chamo! That's good. Looks like Hans is still alive right now.
Hey, Adlet! Who is it you're looking for out here? It's only us. You injured Hans in the first place, so come on out. Don't you dare move! I know you're there! You're mine now! I finally caught you.
Nasha Tanya, I believed that you were my friend. And that if the two of us were together, we wouldn't need to fear the demon god.
I can't believe you have the nerve to say that to me. You're the one who's betrayed me, Adlet. That's the truth.
I'm not the one who did anything wrong. I wasn't setting up a trap for you. And I never tried to kill my friends!
Well, you're not gonna fool me anymore. It's obvious you're the seventh.
It's cold. I can't stop shaking. Have I lost too much blood? Cold?
You're the seventh brave. Face it. Don't bother trying to fight!
Princess!
Sorry!
Highness, are you all right?
Forget about how I'm doing! Go and follow Adlet!
Why didn't I realize it before? It was so damn simple. Why didn't I notice the cold?
Nicely done, Goldov.
I want to thank you, because it was beginning to hurt even to run. Actually, you saved me. I'm only here because of you. You do remember, don't you? When Flamey and you and Nashitanya and I went to the temple, and then we were all attacked by the fiends.
Yes, what of it?
Goldov, kill him now.
No, don't do that! Yes, do that, Goldov!
Highness, Mora, we will get more information if we do not kill him.
You're wrong. He won't talk.
I agree, so we should kill him right now.
You're late, Hans! Where the hell have you been?
Sorry, you guys. We've been looking all over for you. There's something we think you should all see.
It can't be. Hans is unhurt? Adlet.
Nashitanya, you're something. I can't believe how strong you are.
Forgive me. What have I done to you?
Mora, can you say why Hans appears to be safe?
What happened to you, Adlet?
Sorry, I had to lie.
Mora!
Are you okay?
No, he's not. Look, these wounds are terrible.
I'm sorry I ran earlier. I didn't want to leave you behind back there.
Shut up already. Do you hear me? I'll patch you up.
Adlet is still the imposter, a fact you cannot argue. And I am determined to prove it to you any way I can.
He's not the fake! You talked us all into thinking that he was!
Hey! What's needed by the strongest man in the whole world?
Huh?
The strongest man in the world has to have power, skill, wisdom, luck, and heart. He must have every single one of these things. It's really quite simple. The strongest man in the whole world is me. I am that man. I want you to think about it. It's impossible for anyone to have made it this far, except for the strongest man in the whole world.
You're crazy. A major idiot.
Oh, Adlet.
Wait, don't lie to us again.
I'm saying it's time to finally defeat the seventh. I'll explain what happened. I'm going to reveal the whole truth about the trap the imposter set.
Oh no.
So you're saying we were given a false method to activate the barrier?
That's right. The real barrier was activated only after I had entered the temple, but that's something we didn't know at the time.
Your hypothesis doesn't make sense. You don't address the fact that the Saint of Fog would require a powerful barrier to engulf the entire forest with mist.
There is one saint who would have the ability to instantly create the fog. One is all it would take.
That's impossible!
You told me before that I didn't know much about the power of the saints. However, you saints don't know all that much about the power of science.
What should we know?
The power of saints can sometimes defeat science. But while you might not think much of it, the fact is that science is amazing. Like fog, for instance. Do you know how it's made? It's when water vapor in the air condenses into little droplets. The same reason you can see your breath in winter. The higher the temperature, the more water vapor builds up in the air. And if the temperature quickly falls, The water vapor returns to being tiny droplets of water, floating in the air. That's what fog is.
I don't get that at all.
The humidity in this forest is consistently high. It's right next to the sea, so the wind carries in a lot of moisture. A sudden drop in temperature instantly creates fog.
But how could you suddenly drop the temperature? Even the Saint of Ice or Saint of Snow would need to erect a barrier for that.
You can't put one barrier over another, right? You need to think outside the box, Mora. You don't lower the temperature. You raise it.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
The Saint of the Sun could probably do it.
Exactly. Ryura, the Saint of the Sun, has been missing for a month. In the beginning, I suspected Flamey. But 6 months ago, Flamey was defeated by Chamo, and then the fiends betrayed her. And since then, Flamey hasn't killed any potential Braves. Couldn't the power held by the Sun Saint make the temperature in this area rise?
I suppose.
Even now when she's older?
Poor Ryura. Her legs got so weak that it came to the point where she couldn't leave her wheelchair. But despite her situation, her power has remained just as strong as it's ever been.
I think the Seventh and their allies probably kidnapped Ryura, and then forced the poor thing to help them. They could have even taken her family hostage or something cruel like that. It's entirely possible she was forced to gradually raise the temperature in this area. It took a while, probably over the course of a month. Don't you remember? How the weather was so strangely hot? Why did it suddenly get so damn hot here? Tell me, is this area supposed to have weather like this? Do you know anything? Next, think about the fortress. Either the people manning it were imposters, or the soldiers were helping the Seventh from the start. Either way, the Braves were all told about the phantasmal barrier, and given false information on how to activate it.
Okay, but what if someone had known about the real activation?
Then they would have called off the plan. Remember, the king who built the temple was extremely secretive.
Yes, the King of the Iron Hills. He's a secretive man.
No one knew that the barrier even existed, so it would be highly unlikely.
And what happened then?
The Seventh must have used the fiends so that they would lure us into the temple. And when I opened the door, then the signal was sent. Presumably, that would have been done by the transforming fiend. With that signal, the other fiends went ahead and killed Ryura. With Ryura's death, the sun's power vanished too. The temperature quickly dropped, and the forest was covered in fog. We fell for it because we believed the barrier had already been activated. I remember at the time, I'd felt a chill running down my spine. I wasn't imagining it. The temperature really was dropping. The rest is pretty simple. The Seventh must have innocently approached the altar. Then amidst all the confusion, they activated the real barrier. And all they had to do then was wait. Wait for me to be suspected, and be killed as the imposter.
Now stop! You have no proof of that! Guesses and conjecture aren't enough!
Hold on a minute. I'm not done talking yet.
It's okay. I got your back. You go ahead and just keep on explaining what happened.
So the real question is, where would the Seventh's comrades hide Ryura's body? It had to be close enough to hear a fiend's cry, so it couldn't be too far from the temple. It's a big forest, but even so, there wouldn't be many places to hide her. And burying her wouldn't work because Chamo's out here.
Yeah! I think I found it.
The best place to hide a leaf is in a forest. So it follows the best place to hide a body is in...
A meadow full of corpses.
Flamey, was that fiend among those we fought yesterday?
If we had fought something this big, I'm sure we'd remember that, wouldn't we?
Why is it here?
Do it now, Hans!
Yeah! Now tell us who this is, Mora.
Oh, Riora. Without a doubt, that is Riora.
So, does anybody here still think that Adlet is the imposter?
This is also part of the trap! Yes, Adlet must have prepared this ahead of time! To show us how innocent he was!
But if that were true, don't you think he would have shared his theory with all of us a long time ago? Do you realize how many times he was almost killed before he got here?
I had no idea. I guess I was wrong. Adlet wasn't the imposter.
That's right. That's what I was trying to tell you from the start. You didn't listen when I said I wasn't.
Adlet.
Adlet?
That was really a close call. I didn't have a shred of proof Ryora's body was hidden there. Could have been anywhere in the forest. At the very end, the only thing I had to rely on was luck. But I won. I showed everyone the imposter's plan, and I won.
Hey, wonder who it was that killed the old lady.
This fiend, probably. I'm sure it killed Ryora and ate her, and then died here.
Wait. If Adlet isn't actually the seventh, then who could it be?
The seventh one. The seventh one is...
Mora, you realize you just implicated yourself? Flamey, I think it would be a good idea for you to stick close to Adlet. Goldoff, don't let Mora get away from us.
Of course.
Just hold on! I'm not the imposter! What proof do you have that I'm the one?
I don't have any proof it's you. But there really isn't anyone else who would be right for it. And don't tell me you're gonna say that Flamey is the imposter.
Are you all right?
Nashitanya's right. We have no proof. Except, who else could it be but Mora? I'm positive that Flamey and Nashitanya aren't imposters. And Hans helped me to reveal the Seventh's plot, so it couldn't be him. There's Goldoff, but I can't imagine a man as loyal as him betraying us. And I never once suspected Chamo.
It's not Mora.
Oh.
I bet Chamo can prove she's not the one. Look at this. Chamo found some stuff that's interesting.
Stone tablets?
A little while ago, I broke through the floor at the temple and started digging around. I found a big box down there. There was a sword, and these 2 tablets were also inside of it.
2 of them?
One of them is the same as the tablet we saw in the temple. And the sword we found looks exactly like the original does. So whoever it was who made the barrier, they were extremely careful. Apparently, they even made themselves a spare set of tools to activate it.
Yeah, and Chamo was the one who found it.
Well, I was the one who first asked if there might be something under the floor.
But Chamo was the one who actually found it.
Come on, you know it was my brilliant idea.
You two can fight over the glory later. So how come there are 2 tablets then?
It's the second tablet that's so interesting. That one over there is the same as the one on the altar, but this one here is unusual. It has instructions on how to deactivate the barrier, as well as an explanation of how to reactivate it. However, what surprised me most was how it was activated. It's really quite amusing. To reactivate the barrier, you have to remove the sword and the shattered tablet, and then repeat the entire original process. In other words, grip the sword and let your blood drip down it. You say the words that give the order, and then you destroy the tablet once again.
So that one is the real thing?
This tablet and the sword are the same ones we found on the altar in the temple.
Listen, Chamo's right. It's hard to believe this would be the only fake. But all that really matters is figuring out the identity of the person who broke it. I don't know who that was.
When Chamo first got to the temple, the tablet was already broke. So which of you is the bad guy?
Do you remember who that is? Do you, Adlet?
Yes, I remember that well. I remember everything. First, it was Goldov.
Come on now, Adlet. Aren't you able to tell us who broke the tablet?
No, that can't be right.
Nashatanya, right?
It's the princess? Well, that's a surprise. I was totally convinced it would be Goldov.
It's the princess?
I will protect you. You needn't worry, Highness.
I was the one who broke the tablet, but I had no intention of activating any barrier. Adlet, please say something. I'm not the seventh, I swear. I'm begging you to speak up for me. Adlet, please!
Please, let's shake. And like you, I am chosen as one of the 6 Braves. But all of this is totally new.
Isn't it beautiful? It's such a peaceful and quiet place. That girl right there is the Brave Killer! Men really seem to like girls like her. Fragile and helpless, and then you get to be the big, strong hero, right? Adlet, tell them it's not me!
Wait. There was an important prerequisite for this trap to work. That's right. It was that the first brave to reach the temple would be the one to be taken in by the trap. So the person who made me fall for it has to be the one who sent me to the temple.
Adlet, go now! And don't stop until you reach the temple! We'll make sure nothing's going to follow!
No way. Can it be true? Nashatanya!
Adlet, wait. I give up. It's true. I've decided I'm going to surrender.
Highness, what on earth are you saying?
You heard me, Goldov. I'm saying that I am the 7th Brave. I'm so sorry. I probably could have gotten away with it a while longer, but with how Adlet was acting, I'm sure there would be nothing I could say to change the outcome. It's my mistake. I always knew there was a spare set of ritual items, but I didn't know there were instructions for the activation. I really should have investigated more carefully. Still though, I can't believe I couldn't defeat at least one of you. I thought I'd be able to get rid of at least 2 Braves. Maybe it was because I wasn't aggressive enough. I could have gotten closer to Adlet and killed him. I definitely could have killed Goldov. I mean, I had several possibilities. But everything was going along so well, there wasn't a reason to use any of them. At first, I thought that Adlet was just an idiot who could be easily taken. I knew I could kill him rather quickly, which was what I wanted for my first victim. But I never thought for even a second that he would find me out instead. And Hans, I was certain you'd turn out to be the most difficult opponent to deal with. Looks like I was right. Without you exploring under the floor, I never would have lost.
You were willing to kill everybody? Princess, so you were going to destroy the whole world for him? Join the demon god? That's the reason you were going to kill us all?
Honestly, I see now that this is something that should not have been done. Instead, I should have asked for your help from the beginning. I guess at this point, it doesn't really matter now.
Princess, how can I assist you? What is it you're trying to achieve here? I will follow you anywhere you lead.
Actually, Goldov, if you had only done what I commanded, without asking questions, I would have told you the truth all along. But I never thought you'd openly show your feelings like that.
Well, Princess Chommel has a question. Why in the world would you want to kill all of us?
I want the world to have a reality that's peaceful. I want to see a world where the demon god and humans and fiends can live without any fighting. I have nothing against any of you. It's just, I need to revive the demon god in order to make all this occur. And it's necessary to kill all the 6 Braves to ensure that my plan will work.
I don't understand. Princess, what the hell are you saying to us?
I have a request for all of you. Can everyone here please withdraw? I'll handle the revival of the demon god. There's no way I would let him destroy the human world, because I have always loved humans and fiends equally. I want them to live in peace.
Now hold on. Listen, I want to know what you have in mind.
My goal is quite clear. I want to make sure the fiends change their ways so they can be at peace with humanity.
At peace?
Alrighty then, and if they do, you really believe the world will be at peace?
Of course, it will. But I'm not going to lie, it will be dangerous. There's gonna be some collateral damage. But the casualties will only be a small number.
How small is that?
My estimates say there would most likely be around 500,000, more or less.
500,000?
That's right, only 500,000 will die.
All right, Hans. Flamey. Mora. Jamo. Kill her! What's that?
It's really unfortunate. Persuading you was impossible.
What's that smell?
It's so sweet.
It smells like rotting apples. Highness.
Goldoff, I'm sorry that you couldn't come along with me this time. Farewell.
That's a fiend technique. And a high-level one, too.
Oh, and Flamey, I think you and I could come to an understanding in the future.
Watch out. She's still pretty close to us.
Let's all meet again.
Over there!
Flamey, watch it! Take care of Adlet!
Adlet, wait! Stay with me now.
I can't believe that. It's Nasha Tanya. She's the one.
Please don't talk. You pushed yourself too hard. You've lost too much blood. Just a second. It isn't much, but I have a little tonic for you.
You've gotten to be awfully nice. Should have been that way from the start.
I already told you. You need to stop talking.
When we met, you looked like that. Hey, Flamey. I want to tell you...
I hate you. Whenever I'm around you, you make me feel like I want to live.
I won't let you die.
Adlet, no! You can't die!
So are you awake now? Sorry to say that I'm not Flamey. Those herbs hold the life energy of the mountains. I'm sorry. I refuse the possibility you weren't guilty. It was a huge error.
No sense dwelling on the past. But you might apologize to the others.
She did apologize to us already.
Hans, is the barrier still up?
It's no longer there. Nashitania deactivated the thing, and then for a change of pace she got away from us. Sorry about that.
I see. Is everyone safe?
Yeah, they're all outside.
These things are amazing.
I must say, if it weren't for you and everything you did, who knows how many of us would have died.
Hey, you can always rely on me no matter what.
Since you're the strongest man, I think normally I would laugh that off, but with you, it's different. You did extremely well here.
You haven't got any words of praise for me?
Yes, I do. Nicely done, Hans.
Why is Adlet always treated like he's the special one?
Hey, Hans. Remember, it was you who found the tablet that finally revealed Nashitanya's plot?
Yeah, I guess. But I wasn't able to figure out where Ryura's body was hidden out there the way you did.
Really, I do think you're incredible. I've never met another person I could rely on like you.
You should stop now. You're gonna turn my head with that.
Why on earth is he acting like that?
Where's Goldov?
He hasn't said a word. No matter what I talk about, he won't answer.
And there's nothing we can do for him. That's right. The barrier's gone.
You're awake.
Yeah, I am.
I'm sorry about before. About how your favorite girl turned out to be the imposter.
What are you saying? Don't think I understand.
And I'm sorry, but I don't want to hear you talk now. I don't know how to talk to you. Honestly, I don't think I ever knew. I don't even know how I can face myself anymore. I need a little time to think about what's going on.
Well, just think on this. Will you come with us, instead of fighting on your own?
Yes, I've pretty much given that up.
I have one more question. When you're here with me, is it actually true that you feel life is good? Okay, let's do our best! Let's defeat the demon god and survive!
Is that really sorry.
Melonia?
Oh, Adlet! It's been a while. I always thought that you'd be one of the chosen few.
I know a long while's passed, but I have to say,
Who is this girl?
Oh, well,
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rolonia Manchetta, and I'm proud to say that I'm the Saint of Fresh Blood. I'm sorry I'm late.
Why are you here? Tell us.
I'm so sorry, Mora. I tried to meet up with you, but the fog rolled in and I couldn't find you. I'm so sorry.
I'm not talking about that, and you know it.
Yes. I know I shouldn't be one of the 6 Braves because I'm not strong enough, but I promise that I will do my very best.
look, Rolonia, you...
Your crest, Rolonia.
Yes, ma'am.
No way.
So I have been wondering about something. Why is it that there are 7 of us?
Finally! It would seem that my time has arrived at last.
I'm Dotom III, King of Gwenbire, and my royal guard. I heard of the Phantasmal Barrier's activation. It is a good thing to see that all the 6 Braves are still safe. I have just received a detailed report from my scouts. I am told that the fiends which are scattered all over this continent have been seen to be heading towards this forest. Most likely, they will arrive here within a few hours. We can expect there will be at least 2,000 of them.
2,000?
We should consider the possibility of retreating from this area.
Chalmo doesn't want to retreat. But we don't have any idea regarding our enemy.
Rolonia, actually Chamo is right.
It's more fun if it's more dangerous.
And what's going to happen if Rolonia has prepared us a trap?
Yeah, Rolonia could be here to set up a trap, especially if she assumed that we would all be retreating.
Rolonia is definitely not our enemy.
I'm sorry, Mora. There's no way I can trust you.
Wait a minute. You're the one Chalmo doesn't trust.
Hold on now. We know there are 6 Braves. Why do I see 7?
There's no point in explaining. Your Majesty, I'm sure this is confusing, but since I'm the strongest man in the whole world, I'm asking you to do as I say. Can you reactivate the phantasmal barrier?
I have sufficient water and enough provisions to stay here for some time. I can activate it immediately.
Go! Please activate the barrier in the next 30 minutes. Protect it until we can see the demon god is defeated for good.
Yes, I understand.
Well, for now, I'm the only one that we know without a doubt can't possibly be the 7th. So then it's only natural for all of you to follow me.
That concerns me somewhat. But for now, I guess it's the best we've got.
You're right. For now then, we'll follow where Adlet leads.
If you say so, Mora. Well, if that's your decision, Adlet.
That's fine with me. Are you sure about this, Adlet? Since we don't know who the 7th is.
But if we wait until we do, we may not be able to defeat the 7th. You sure you're okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Adlet, you seem to be having some difficulty. Why don't you grab my shoulder?
It's all right. Pretty sure I can still run.
But I'm the Saint of Blood, Adlet. Healing is one of my specialties.
Flamey! All right, we finally made it! Those mountains mark the land of howling demons! There's no way out. Our escape route is cut off. Until we defeat the demon god, we can't leave. Don't forget, the 7th is on our list too. Let's go!